morning, people. Good morning. Let me turn my hat around. What's going on with my hat today? Hey, 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 hey. Oh, what is going on, y'all? Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, love. All right. So, what is up, people? What is up? We are here for a politics of it all. Lots going on, people, that we need to focus on. Hey, basic ass bread. Hey, peace of love. Hey, so Jeff. Hey, everyone. Glad you could make it. Glad that you are here. I see we got one of our mods here, so we can get started. I feel good and comfortable now that at least one mod is there. My mods be flaking out on me, dear God. But one of the members of the mod squad here, and they knew, listen, we do have a mod squad chat, right? So I do talk to the mods, we send stuff, but let you break the fourth wall or whatever. But sometimes I don't let them know that I'm going live. Sometimes I just click the button and go, and they just find out when y'all find out. Other times I will tell them, hey, I'm going live at such and such time. So this time they knew. So what is going on, y'all? It is Thursday. Today is Thursday, December 9th. Hmm. I need to call my cousin. His birthday today. We have a lot in my family. We have a lot of December and a lot of January birthdays. Like January is out of control in my family. Like I think there's like only 2 days in the month of January where there's not a birthday that's being celebrated in the month of January. So um yeah. Anyway, we're here. So we're gonna do some politics. Now our very last we are gonna have some fun. Well, at least I am with the very last story. It doesn't involve politics, it does involve pop culture or whatnot, but we'll save that to the end. You know what I'm saying? We'll save that to the end. We ain't gonna start off with that. We'll save that to the end and talk about that at that time. Anyway, so let's start off with the squad. Hey Tabitha, hey Cams, um, Professor P. All right, what's good, Tabitha? Tabitha says she driving that list. And hey Cams, Cams probably over there looking good over there in the home office. I see you over there, Cams. I see you. Anyway, so and I sent this story to Tabitha too. I think she reported on it yesterday, but members of the squad came out in full effect yesterday and decided that enough was enough. And so Representative Ayanna Pressley of Massachusetts um, spearheaded a resolution to strip Representative Lauren Boebert of all of her committees for her incendiary remarks and gaslighting of the terrorists that we have in this country against Representative Ilhan Omar and her horrible comments about people of the Muslim faith and so forth. I'm going to let you hear what she said. I think it's better that you hear what Representative Presley had to say. So I am going to play her words and let you hear her. And then I'm going to play Corey Bush's. Hold on. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready, girl. I wasn't ready. Girl, I wasn't ready. Girl, I wasn't ready. Girl, you saw her getting ahead of time. So I think this is extremely important. However, the sad thing is the fact that this wasn't something you didn't see the brass down there to the Democratic Party spearheading this and putting the I'm gonna just let representatives Presley and Bush go and speak first, and then I'll give my commentary afterward. So here's Representative Presley first.
Brings me great sadness that we even have to gather here today once again to denounce and condemn the racist, hateful, and unacceptable behavior of yet another one of our Republican colleagues. It is shameful that we have had to wait this long for meaningful action, for meaningful accountability, but here we are. Today, we stand in solidarity with Representative Omar and our Muslim colleagues who for too long have been targets of unprecedented hate and vitriol. We stand in solidarity with the Muslim staffers who bravely raised their voices in an open letter earlier today, calling for accountability, calling for a workplace where they can feel safe, where their families do not have to fear that they will be targeted or harassed. Today, we stand in solidarity with the broader Muslim community. For a member of Congress to repeatedly and unapologetically use hateful, racist, and Islamophobic tropes towards a Muslim colleague is dangerous. This sort of toxic behavior has no place in the halls of Congress, and it diminishes the honor of the institution that we all serve in. It has no place in our public discourse. It has no place in our society. It has no place in any workplace, period. Over the last week, we have seen a growing coalition of lawmakers call for real, meaningful accountability for Rep. Boebert's actions. When we asked for an apology and acknowledgement of her racist and blatantly false comments, we were met with even more racism and bigotry. When we called on Republican leader McCarthy to hold this member of his caucus accountable, we were met with defiance and gaslighting. Enough is enough. Each day that passes without meaningful accountability, we risk normalizing this behavior and endangering the lives of our Muslim colleagues, Muslim staff, and every Muslim who calls this country home. And despite what some may argue, this is not about any one member of Congress. This is about accountability. This is about protecting the integrity of the House of Representatives and about living up to the very values that we espouse and claim to represent. Many of us here today witnessed firsthand the consequences of the previous president's rhetoric when he incited a mob of violent insurrectionists to attack our seat of government. We have heard the hate and credible threats that have been directed at Rep. Omar and her staff. Words have consequences. We must acknowledge that and respond with action. We've introduced this resolution today to do just that, and to send a powerful message to every Muslim and every marginalized person who has ever questioned their place in this country or in the halls of power. We see you. You belong, you are powerful, and you deserve a life free from fear and filled with dignity and love. How we respond in moments like these will have a lasting impact, and history will remember us for it. The world is watching. I look forward to working with House leadership to get this resolution across the finish line.
That was Ayanna Presley. Hey, Kamisha Reviews. Hey, my love. Let me let you hear Cori Bush. Hold on.
Show this country that we firmly stand against Islamophobia and that we will protect Rep. Omar and the livelihoods and the lives of Muslim communities around this country. If we're serious about tackling the systems of entrenched white supremacy that stain every fiber of this country, then we need to start right here, right in this Capitol. We need to start with this lying, Islamophobic, race-baiting, violence inciting, white supremacist sentiment spreading, Christmas tree gun-toting elected official who is out here straight up calling her colleagues terrorists. Lauren Boebert is a danger to this country. She is a danger to the Muslim staffers that work here. She is a danger to her fellow members of Congress. Removing her from her committees is the least leadership can do to protect every employee, visitor, and member of this body. While I definitely wish we didn't have to keep coming back assembling every few weeks to do this, once again, Black and brown women are carrying the water for this country, for the rest of our country, by urging leadership to act to keep us safe. We stand here today united in calling for immediate consideration of our legislation to remove Lauren Boebert from all of her committees.
That was Cori Bush. I'm here for it. Listen, see, you gotta have a two-angled approach. You come in first with the Ayanna Presley, who's gonna come in. She's gonna be poised and put together. She's gonna tell you. She's gonna toe the line. She's gonna go right by the book. She's gonna hit each point and dot dot dot. You back that up then with your girl Cori, who's gonna come up after her and say, "That's the cute part." Let me tell you how it really is. This gun-toting Christmas tree bigger than gaslight. She gonna come out here and tell you what it really is. Let's be clear. Also, Jamal Bowman, also a member of the squad, he also spoke as well. I didn't have his statement. I should have looked, heard. I could have found it, but whatever. And that's Jamal Bowman of New York. He's with them, excuse me, co-sponsoring the bill. And he had words as well. I just didn't pull it up. I'm sorry. Anyway, but here's the point that I'm making. Right. Cori Bush, she came through and said, listen, I'm gonna let my sis over here come to y'all first. She gonna give y'all a nice, pretty, wonderful, well-poised and put together. And I'm coming here to tear it up. She coming, see, that's why you have to have the two-pronged approach. You got the one that's gonna come in and open the door and wedge the door open and be real nice, real poised to put together. And once they wedge the door and get the door open, you know coming behind that one is the one that's going to bust it wide open. And they come bull in the China shop, knuck if you buck, tear everything down. And I'm saying that because the weak, frail, passive, pussyfooting around as members of the Democratic leadership are the ones who should have been pushing this way back. And every time we look, they're just sitting around, just allowing things to happen, just allowing themselves to get pushed all over the place, and slapped in the mouth and punched in the chest and kicked in the chin. Hey, Doris. And that's why it was like, I love what Ayanna said, enough is enough. Y'all around here playing around. Y'all know Kevin McCarthy ain't gonna do a goddamn thing about it because he's here for it. And it looks like Nancy Pelosi and all of the brass down to the Democratic Party ain't gonna push the issue as well. So they was like, y'all, and I'm gonna tell you, and people gonna say, nah, El Teddy, you just looking at it too hard. You know why they're not pushing it? Because it's the squad and it's the progressive wing of the Democratic caucus. Let them had said that kind of stuff about another member of the Democratic Party that had a little more, that was a part of the, the core group, and see how that would have went. You see what I'm saying? See how that would have gone. They would have been all over that a long time ago. Let them have made a racist remark about Clyburn and see if they wouldn't have been ready to burn the house down. Enough is enough, even with the powers that be in the Democratic Party. And like I said, these people that they have in positions of power in the Democratic Party at this point are a liability, and they are going to cost their party a whole lot of power. And when and if and when the Dems lose power in 2022, I'm telling you now, mark my words, you heard it here, December 9th, 2022. It could be a very, very, very long time before they get it back. And I say that because look at what the other side is doing in terms of voting laws, voter suppression laws. We're going to get to a story or two story today about gerrymandering and stuff like that, and all kinds of things. They have stacked the deck, and the Dems are pussyfooting around and fucking off. And this shit is going. They're going to lose the House and lose the Senate, and then it's going to be a very, I could see it being 10 plus years before they get it back. I'm serious. And that's not me being, hyperbolic or anything. It could easily happen. When the Dems lost Congress and the Senate in, what was that? 2010, when they lost it in 2010, they didn't get it back until they didn't get the House back until 2018. That's 8 years right there. And the country wasn't anywhere near as divided back in 2010 as it is now. There weren't all of the election and voter suppression laws and all of the things that have been put in place to allow the other side to steal elections from the rights of the people and to take the choice out of the hands of the people. That is real, and it is law in many states right now, where no matter how the people vote, it still can come up to the people in positions of power in the legislature deciding who wins an election and not the people. Right, Cams, that they ran roughshod through the judiciary. They ran roughshod. I mean, they was handing out, seats on the bench like Oprah giving out cards. You get a seat and you get a seat and you get. Oh, you just graduated from law school last week? Fine, you can get a seat too. Oh, you have a history of racist and unconstitutional rulings on your resume. Oh, you can get a seat too. All kinds of shit. But this is what we got going on. And so you have a small group in the Democratic Party that's out here windmilling and fighting, and then you got the majority over there just looking around like, well, I guess I'm gonna just follow the leadership. And then you got the leadership right here with the fuck shit and trying to play nice with people who don't play nicely and trying to negotiate with fucking terrorists. A goddamn mess. That's what we opening with, y'all. That is, listen, I don't know what y'all want. Listen, if that is the opening, if that's what we opening with, y'all, let me go ahead and get me get your snacks now. We sugar levels will be fine. I got my Christmas tree cakes, y'all. Because dear God above, this is where we're going today. Lord help us. Let me just stay here in Congress. Since we're going to be in Congress, might as well stay here, dear God. Since we talked about Boebert in Congress, let me introduce you not only to Lauren Boebert, but so let me show y'all a couple pictures that came across my desk. Of course, this one, that is y'all girl, Lauren Boebert and her family. Guns ablazing, gun-toting Christmas tree having. Lauren Boebert and all of her, white nationalists and, domestic-grown terrorists that she's grooming down there in the great state of Colorado. If you need her, Call her if you need her. Okay. That's Lauren Boebert because she's a member of Congress. And this is the stuff that you decide that you're going to release right after you have school shootings taking place in Detroit. Not in Detroit, in Michigan. But no, she's not by herself because along with her, you have another member of Congress, Representative Thomas Massey of the great state. What state? I forgot what state he's out of. What state is Massey out of? I forgot. Um, some one of y'all will tell me in the chat. I forgot what state he's out of. Um, anyway, but Representative Thomas Massey, right after that, decided, oh, it's a good idea for me to put this picture out too. Me and my gun-toting Christmas tree having family up here, because that's the message that we want to send right after we have children running for their lives in school. This is what y'all got going on in Congress. Pasty ass white people, gun assault rifle toting pasty ass white folks, terrorists. Now imagine how this would come across. I'm gonna leave this picture up here for a minute. Imagine how this would come across if these were Muslim people. Imagine how this would look if this was a Muslim family, a wife and her daughters with hijab and full Muslim regale, Muslim men with all of their traditional regale and garb. Imagine how that would look if they were holding assault rifles, sending pictures around. How that would look. Imagine the heinous, horrible, and insidious things that would be said. But this what y'all got going on in the halls of goddamn Congress. That's what y'all got going on. That's what y'all got going on. That's what y'all got going on. I mean, you got, listen, at this point, because I pulled some numbers, because y'all know I like to dig a little deep sometimes, and I like to pull numbers, because I don't like to just let it just, spout off. Dear God. But I looked up some statistics. I looked up some statistics. And dear God, here's what we have. 3,371 children were killed from guns in 2019. And that was one every 2 hours and 36 minutes. 16,664 were wounded in 2018, one every 32 minutes. We have had 193,000 killed since 1963. And that is over 4 times the amount of U.S. soldiers that we killed in the Vietnam War. This is what y'all got going on. But y'all don't want no real, listen. White people have told y'all are not going to take their guns. Y'all are not going to take their white privilege from them. They don't give a shit that y'all are killing children. They don't care. Remember, we had Sandy Hook, where innocent little babies, 4 and 5 years old, were getting gunned down. They didn't give a shit. They said, oh, the babies were killed. Oh, well, I still got my gun. So that's all I'm worried about. Let's be clear. Let's be very clear. All of the talk about protecting the rights of people, they're not protecting the rights of anything. They're protecting white supremacy. Let's be clear. When they start saying, oh, we have to protect citizens' rights and so forth, when they talk about mask mandates and vaccines, oh, that's not what this is about. Let's be very clear. This is about them protecting their white supremacy. That is all that it's about. It's about nothing more than protecting their white supremacy. They don't care about protecting anything else but they're white supremacy. That's the long and short of it. And whether or not we think so, white people on both sides of the aisle, the left and the right, are here for the very same thing, protecting their own white supremacy. Because they can look and see what black people and other minorities go through in this country, and they don't want any parts of getting anywhere near close to that. They don't want any parts of giving up some of the advantages and privileges that they have. Because even the most staunch ally for the black community and for people that are minorities want no parts of giving up any parts of their own advantages and privileges if it means that everybody's going to be equal. Let me say that for you again. People are not about, even the most staunch ally, the person who sees it for us, who aligns with us or whatever. When you're white and you grew up and that's what you know, and I don't care how poor you grew up with a certain understanding of what your whiteness was and the privileges that went along with that. And I don't care how poor and bottom of the barrel you are. And let's be very clear, they are not about to let off and give up any of that privilege or advantage, even if it means, even if them giving up a little bit of their privilege meant that everybody could be equal and we could have equality. They don't want no part. They wouldn't have any part of that equality. Let's just be very clear. They only want it if it means that they don't have to give up their rights. But newsflash, in order for there to be real equality, you're gonna have to come up off some of your white privilege. There can't be equality with the way it is. There's nothing equitable about the white privilege and white supremacy that we have. And until they realize that in order for there to be any type of equity, for there to be any type of equality, or there to truly be the tenets and principles that they talked about in their fabled writings that the founding fathers wrote, they're gonna have to come up off some of that white privilege and white supremacy. And they don't want to do that. But that's what y'all got going on. Y'all got people just days after we had children gunned down. And this happens, we've had more school shootings, and the statistics have already been out since 2017, meaning since your last administration. Violence in schools with deadly weapons is going up, and we were already on the upward hill, and that upward decline has gotten even more steeper. So what we have going on is a mess that I don't see getting better in our lifetime. I don't see it getting better in our lifetime. I want to play a I want to play a video. I'm not going to play, I'm going to let you hear the audio of Michigan State Senator Mallory McMorrow, who in the Michigan Senate, she got up and she made a wonderful and beautiful, poignant speech in front of the Michigan Senate. And this is State Senator Mallory McMorrow. I want y'all to hear what she's had to say on the school shootings and gun violence.
Yesterday, when asked by a reporter if the legislature would take any action in the wake of the horrific school shooting in Oxford, the senator from the 16th district said, quote, "If we get obsessed with eliminating the risks, we'll evolve into a country that we don't recognize." Last night, I spoke with a group of Cub Scouts over Zoom, and one child asked, how could a 15-year-old even get a gun? So I was going to wait on these remarks to help give the community space to grieve. But in the wake of such callous remarks here in this body, remarks that imply that children killing children is simply the price that we pay in this country, I must rise today. But is anyone in this room truly surprised? For 3 years, I have stood up in this chamber year after year after year to introduce a resolution merely to recognize Gun Violence Awareness Month. And year after year after year, not only has this resolution not been adopted, the majority hasn't even let us vote on it. Year after year after year, I've stood up here merely to ask that we, as the Michigan Senate, are aware of the issue of gun violence. Are we aware now? Is it close enough to home? And does it even matter? Because I can tell you from personal experience what it feels like when a mass shooting impacts you, someone you love, takes someone you know, completely upends and devastates your friends, their families, and their lives forever. It is a feeling that no one should share. But this morning, countless friends, classmates, family members, teachers, staff, community members now know that same feeling, and they will know it forever. I listened and I watched national news cover this story, and the refrain that commonly started these reports: another school shooting, this time in Michigan. Another, this time. Common language because we all know that there will be the next one, and the one after that, and the one after that, that this is the country that we recognize today. And every time we're told that now is not the time to talk about policy change, now is not the time to push an agenda, every time it's not the time for the past 22 years since Columbine. If not now, then when? Because this week, a child brought a gun to school and killed 4 other children. Bridge Magazine yesterday reported that this legislature has blocked dozens of gun reform bills this year alone, including bills to create new criminal penalties for adults who fail to keep weapons out of the hands of minors. Would tougher laws have prevented this 15-year-old from getting access to his father's gun? I don't know. But I do know that doing nothing didn't stop this from happening. And if we continue to do nothing, then it will keep happening again and again and again. Another shooting, this time. This is the only country in the world where this regularly happens. We are killing each other. Children are killing children. We live in a country where there are more guns than people. And anytime anyone brings up any ideas to help stop gun violence and put safety measures in place, we hear outcries of freedom. We hear that it is a right, that it shall not be infringed. But what about the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Why are children's lives worth less than guns? Because if I'm not mistaken, ever since the NRA changed course after Columbine by telling you that your rights are under attack and that someone is coming for your guns, has anyone ever come for your guns? Instead, we've seen record gun sales year after year after year, meaning there are more guns in our communities, and that easy access to firearms has created a reality where children are killing children. And instead of addressing the root cause, we have been training children on drills to make themselves less likely to be killed. Are you in this job to represent the people that you protect to serve, or are you here to sell guns? We can't even recognize gun violence in this chamber. Wouldn't dare, right? So I'm not going to stand up here today and ask you to do something because you've already made that choice. But if you're not going to do anything, then get out of the way so that some of us can at the very least try.
I think she said that pretty well. I really liked when I saw her statements. I was like that because that's the reality of it all. Instead of saying, oh, well, we're going to try to do something to stop the gun violence, you would rather say, let me just train you to deal with it and try not to get killed. Because that's what we have in schools today. You know, if you work at a and in most places, in most workplaces, you have to have mass shooter drills as well within a workplace where you practice, you know, what to do in a situation where somebody may come in and there may be what to do in situations like that, especially if you work in a large office building or something like that. And this is what we have going on. This is what y'all have going on. I told y'all just a few minutes ago, they don't care about protecting lives. They care about protecting white supremacy and white privilege. I'm just telling y'all what it is. Anyway, so these are the people y'all have in Congress. The Thomas Masseys of the world, the Lauren Boeberts of the world, the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world, the Matt Gaetzes of the world. And all of these people are the ones who y'all have making laws that impact us. But then people tell me all the time, I don't get into politics. I don't care about politics. That ain't my thing. Living isn't your thing. Being alive isn't your thing. I'm just asking. Your children being alive isn't your thing. I'm just asking. I ain't trying to push and prod and pry, but I just want to know. A mess. Anyway, I've been asking that for a long time, Social Jeff, because Matt Gaetz is out here sex trafficking minors and children, and they don't give a shit, it seems. They're not here to protect lives. They're not here to protect people. They are here to protect their white privilege and their white supremacy. That's what we have. And Joe Biden's administration's failed attempts at trying to look like they're trying to do it, like they have these moments where they have failed attempts at trying to make it seem as if they are doing something for the people or that the people want. They have those moments. Here's one of those moments, because if you really believe, gonna have me to believe that they're gonna have some real teeth behind this, you're reaching. Okay. But anyway, so Texas, the state of Texas is being sued for their new voting map that we talked about a few weeks ago. About they're being sued over the gerrymandering and of the voting map in Texas. The Justice Department is suing Texas to prevent the state from implementing a redistricting plan designed to disenfranchise non-white voters. Like most other states, Texas legislature is redrawing its legislative districts in the wake of the 2020 census, which showed that the state's population grew in the decade since the prior tally. Since Texas's legislature is controlled by Republicans, the new map was drawn in a way that would solidify red districts. But the federal lawsuit says the map is nothing more than the latest history in a history of attempts to suppress Black and Hispanic voting and representation in a state that's only getting more diverse. The maps were drawn, according to NBC News, the maps were drawn with discriminatory intent in some places, in a rushed process, and with an overall disregard for the fact that Texas's population growth has been driven almost entirely by Black and Hispanic residents. Associate Attorney General Vanita Gupta said, speaking after Garland, the suit asks, and that was after Merrick Garland, excuse me. The suit asks the court to stop the state from using the new maps. Quote, our investigation determined that Texas's redistricting plans will dilute the increased minority voting strength that should have developed from these significant demographic shifts, Gupta said. Texas was allocated 2 more congressional seats after the 2020 census, but it did not draw a single new district with a majority of Black or Hispanic voters. The 2 new seats have white voting majorities, Gupta says. Texas is among 19 states where Republicans elected officials are still pushing the big lie of voter fraud in the 2020 presidential election and using it to justify new voter suppression laws. The Justice Department sued Texas last month over its voter suppression law. Georgia's new voting law curtailed early voting hours, put in new voter ID requirements, and limited the number of absentee ballot box location. Meanwhile, the Democrat-controlled Congress still hasn't delivered on 2020 election promises for stronger voting rights protections. They ain't trying to protect our voting rights. They're trying to protect their white privilege and their white supremacy. And I'm talking about the Democratic Party. Now, y'all see how this is going, right? Black people and Latinx people were responsible for the population growth in not just Texas, but in many states, which afforded those states more seats in Congress. And what those states have decided to do is not put people in Congress that would represent those people that got them those seats. Isn't that the whole purpose of a democratic republic where we have representation? Hey, Diamond Onyx. You got Black people and Latinx people who got you new seats in Congress. And instead of you putting people or districting so that those people would have representation, you instead redistrict so those people have no representation at all, and then get less representation because the ones that were represented them will be voted out as well. So you continue to stack the deck to keep those people under suppression. I told y'all again, they are not trying to protect people. They don't care about people. They only care about their white privilege and their white supremacy. I'm sorry, y'all. It's going to get better. When we get to the end, I got a feel good story that's going to help us get in a better mood. Okay, I got y'all. I'm not going to just be all gloom and doom. We're going to end on a good note. Well, at least it'll be a good note for me. Anyway, so in the great state of Washington, in the city of Seattle, y'all know y'all know Washington is a Democratic stalwart. Okay. Eating my Christmas tree cake. Felt my levels spiking up, so I needed to regulate. Anyway, so, but the Democratic Party is completely afraid and fearful of the progressive wing and people who identify as socialists. completely afraid of them. So in the city of Seattle, this is Seattle, Washington, as blue as they get. Okay. We got um we have a Seattle City Council member by the name of Kashama Sawant. She is a duly elected and installed member of that city council in the great city of Seattle. However, the right, along with members of the left, have been trying to oust her from her duly elected and installed seat. So they are trying to have her recalled. Okay. They're trying to recall her, her seat, and they had a vote on it. And so preliminary returns showed that the efforts to oust this progressive city council woman, Kashana Sawant, was supported by 53% of voters. However, they're still waiting for late ballots to come in. There were some late ballots, some more votes that they're waiting to come in that may help her keep her seat. But my point is this. My point with this is we saw something like this over in Buffalo with India Walton, and how the Democratic Party, rather than support the person who won the Democratic primary, instead had members of the Democratic Party write in a candidate to beat India Walton over in Buffalo because they want no parts of progressive members of Congress or progressive members in politics. Here's what their issue with Kashama Sawant is. She's let me read this article for you all, and then we can analyze a little more. It says the outcome of the recall effort targeting socialist Seattle City Council member Kashama Sawant was still too close to call early Wednesday, as reporters pointed to her 2019 electoral win as a sign she may still have a chance to fend off the challenge. District 3 Council member Sawant, a member of the Socialist Alternative Party, faced the recall election Tuesday, and a final ballot count is expected by Friday. As of late Tuesday, results showed 53% of District 3 voters backing the recall, compared to roughly 47% opposed. Of the approximately 2,600 ballots left to count, according to the Seattle Post Intelligencer, Sawant needs more than 75% in her favor to avoid ouster. The newspaper also noted that progressive voters are known for voting later, which means the bulk of the remaining votes could be in Sawant's favor. Author and social justice campaigner Jonathan Rosenblum expressed optimism about Sawant's chances as well. He said, "We're going to beat the right-wing recall," end quote, he wrote in a Twitter thread late Tuesday. Because the late votes, which aren't in tonight's count, lean left, the recallers had to keep us under 44% tonight to win, he said, and they failed and at that. Now, here's some history of the real reason why they have a problem with Sawant. Sawant has been pushing the unionization of the workers down there to Amazon. She has been one of the biggest supporters. You know, Amazon has huge factories and warehouses in both the state of Washington as well as the state of Oregon. And Sawant has been a staunch supporter of those workers who are trying to unionize down there to Amazon so as to, you know, be reprieved of some of the workplace practices down there at Amazon with the Jeff Bezoses of the world. She's even traveled to other states like Mississippi and some of the other states that have these huge warehouses um, and things like that to, you know, protest with the workers and try to help them fight to get unionized. The problem is that doesn't align with the monies that a lot of Democratic members of Congress and other political agents, you know, both locally, statewide, and nationally, that doesn't chime in well with it because Jeff Bezos and the conglomerate down there to the Amazon is paying everybody. They paying people on the left, they paying people on the right, they paying people in the middle, they paying everybody so that they can. So whichever way the wind blows politically, they know they got favors that they can call upon. So you have the Democratic base that we keep talking about, not base, but the leadership down to the Democratic Party that wants no parts of this. As much as we know the Democrats to be all about unions and stuff like this, you haven't seen the Democratic Party really be behind the unionization of the Amazon workers. You haven't heard a big outcry about that. The progressive wing of the Democratic Party has, but you haven't heard the Democratic leadership be guns a-blazing behind the unionization of the Amazon workers. There's a reason for that. So when you had city council, and so Amazon is real big up in Washington State and Oregon, like I said, and so she has been, you know, championing the rights of those people and trying to get those workers unionized and so forth. She also I mean, she has a lot of other political ideologies that they can't get with, that they're really trying to um oust her for. But let's be clear, it's not just the right wing. The Dems about that. She was in Alabama for that for the situation in Alabama too, Volvo. They're about to have a redo down in Alabama. Child. Anyway, Sawant was very integral in a $15 minimum wage up there in the Seattle area. She's been a fighter for that. She's been a fighter for the Amazon tax to fund housing in that area, and she's done protections for renters from landlords in that area to help protect them from, you know, egregious practices of landlords to just put people out for reasons that they shouldn't be able to, and which made her not a friend to real estate lobbyists, and the lobbyists down to Amazon don't like her, and the lobbyists that are trying to keep minimum wage from being up to fit, they are all fighting against her. So she has become a real figure in the progressive wing, and they're trying to silence her and stifle her. And so I'm curious to see. I'll be watching that to see how that goes. But I brought that up because we talked about India Walton over in Buffalo and how the Democratic Party sabotages their own party because they want no parts of any progressiveness in the Democratic Party. They just want more of the norm. And more of the norm and more of what we've had in the past is going to keep us with the Nancy Pelosi's of the world and Jim Clyburns of the world. That's going to have you all with a bloodbath next year. A freaking bloodbath. And you're going to lose your political power for probably 10 plus years, at least 10 years. And Joe Biden will be a one and done. We haven't had a one and done president in 40 years. More, it's been more than, well, no, I take that back. It's been 30 years because your boy was one and done, George H.W. Bush. It's been 30 years, excuse me. We haven't had a one and done president in, well, no, I take that back because Cheeto Man was a one and done. So there goes that plan. But you get the point that I'm making. Cheeto Man was an anomaly. That was, well, he's looking more like not being an anomaly now because everybody's, gravitating toward that style of politics. A mess. Okay. I'm okay with him being a one and done too. Because you have not the things that we really needed you to push, and be about the business of making sure it gets done, Joe Biden. I don't see that. The criminal justice reform, and stuff like that. Criminal justice reform, police reform. You want to, y'all haven't even tried to bring that up. Voter suppression. Y'all ain't even trying to bring that up. And these were things that were supposed to be put in place when the Dems took the Senate back. Remember, allegedly, the only thing keeping the John Lewis law from getting passed and criminal justice reform and $15 wage and forgiving in student loans was the fact that Mitch McConnell and his merry band of merry men were holding us down. That ain't the case. Y'all holding y'all own self back. It's y'all gonna blame everything on Joe Manchin. Y'all gonna blame everything on Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema because they're terrorists, and you all have been negotiating with these terrorists for even before Joe Biden got in the seat. But that's a whole nother story or a whole nother day. Y'all are sitting up here, you're pussyfooting around, you got your thumbs in your asshole, one thumb in the ass, one thumb in your mouth, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And you can't get shit passed. Can't get nothing. Build Back Better Act that ain't passed yet. Do you think Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema want any parts of that? Oh, but they got the infrastructure bill through. Why? Because the infrastructure bill allows them to pay off all of those companies and conglomerates and construction companies owned by white men, owned by the white supremacy, that they can get contracts and they can line their pockets. And so now you've satisfied those people. So as long as I satisfy rich white men who own these big companies and help the rich get richer, then that's all I need to do. And that's what Joe Biden did. Damn helping the lesser of us. Damn helping poor people. Damn helping minorities. Because I guarantee you, I'd be surprised if you have any minority companies that become the beneficiary of these contracts from the infrastructure bill. That's what I want to see. So if you want to see some accountability on this infrastructure bill, I want to see the report that shows us how many of these contracts go to minority companies, minority owned companies. That's what I need to see. But you ain't gonna see that. Anyway, but I'm going to be watching this situation with Kashama Sawant in Seattle, Washington, because I told y'all there is an all-out attack on progressives in the Democratic Party. Speaking of Democratic terrorists, Joe Manchin of the great state of West Virginia and John Tester of the great state of Montana. He's another one that is right lockstep and key with Joe Manchin, but you don't hear his name a lot. He's not trying to be, the guy whose name you hear a lot. You don't hear John Tester, but John Tester is just as Republicans, aligned as Joe Manchin. Anyway, they are around here backing the Republican Party, who are putting things and actions in place to kill the Biden administration vaccine or test rule that they have for large companies. So Senators John Tester of Montana and Joe Manchin of West Virginia joined every Senate Republican on Wednesday. Let help you hear that. Joined every Senate Republican yesterday in voting to repeal the Biden administration's vaccine or test requirement for large businesses, despite warnings that the move could undercut the nation's pandemic response. The Senate GOP. Now I want y'all this. I'm gonna read this next paragraph, and I want y'all to listen real close to this next paragraph, okay? Real close. Listen, y'all. I want y'all to listen. The whole paragraph is one sentence, but that's all we need. The Senate GOP used a filibuster-proof vehicle known as the Congressional Review Act to fast-track a resolution of disapproval against the rule, which was set to take full effect next month, but has been held up in courts by right-wing judges. Let me read that sentence for y'all again. The Senate GOP used a filibuster-proof vehicle known as the Congressional Review Act to fast-track a resolution of disapproval against the rule, which was set to take full effect next month, but has been held up in courts by right-wing judges. Here's the part that your ears should be burning about. This shit passed in the Senate. You notice how, see, this is what I told you. This is how I know the Democrats are full of shit. Because whenever the Republicans need to find a loophole, whenever they didn't need to follow the filibuster, let's be clear. The Republicans have not had a supermajority in the last how many years during Trump's administration. So the filibuster was still in place. But they managed to get a whole lot of stuff passed. And once again, they managed to find another loophole. Oh, you mean that there are filibuster-proof vehicles that they have in the Senate to get stuff passed? Y'all see what we got going on? Magically, now we're hearing about, oh, there's a filibuster-proof. And if there's one, I'm sure there are more. If there's one, thing or vehicle or rule in place that is filibuster proof that can even get a resolution passed regardless of the filibuster, I'm sure there are others, and probably several others. The problem is the Dems don't want to use it. The problem is they don't have the testicular fortitude or intestinal fortitude with which to do that and say, fuck it, it's going to be fucking scorched earth. Why are we still, see, this is why I'm saying they're pussyfooting around and playing games. Why haven't we even moved on stacking the United States Supreme Court? Because they get ready to get rid of Roe v. Wade, whether or not y'all want them to. They are getting ready to get rid of Roe v. Wade. But because y'all fucked off and because y'all been pussyfoot around, you got one thumb in your ass and one thumb in your mouth, and you trying to play nicely with people, trying to play nice with people who don't play nicely. You're fucking around. You ain't even tried to put, because see, that would have been the first thing I would have did. Oh yeah, we put more people on the Supreme Court. Yeah, we're doing that. Because I'm not going to have you fucktards fuck up this country. But they're going to let, all of this stuff is going to take place. All of it. Republicans found a way. Not only did they find a way, they also went and got two Democratic senators to say, bro, come on over here. We got you over here. Come on over here. Now, will the resolution pass the House? Probably not. But they managed to get it past the Senate. And my point is, if they can get that past the Senate, the Dems should be able to get some other stuff passed through the Senate. But they're fucking around. They fucking off. A mess. I ain't gonna even read the rest of this article. I don't even need to read the rest of the article because we know what this could mean to about with regard to the COVID response, because they're doing everything in their power to block him from requiring people to get vaccinated and or get tested. We know what that could mean for COVID response. The Omarion variant is out there ready to touch y'all, whenever y'all ready. Omarion is right here dancing down the block, waiting to come touch y'all when he wants to. Okay. Baby, this is what y'all got going on. That's the only reason that I did that. So I wanted to read that one paragraph for you all so y'all could see and hear that shit is possible, but they're fucking off and fucking around. I don't have this type of energy. I don't have this type of energy. Now, here's oh god, what is that noise? I'm sorry, y'all. In some good news, I guess it's good and bad news. Senator Devin Nunes, oh yes, that Senator Devin Nunes that used to be chair of the House Committee on was the House, I think he was chair of the House Intelligence Committee. Remember Senator Devin Nunes was there was that whole thing where he was taking paperwork and stuff over to Donald Trump and all of that stuff. Remember that whole scandal and stuff like that? Shit that shouldn't have went to Donald Trump, but he was taking it over there to him anyway in the cloak of darkness, and then he got caught and all of that other stuff. Just a goddamn mess. He was either the Intelligence Committee or the Ways and Means Committee. He was one of the chairs of back when the Republicans had Congress. Anyway, he's been a Trump ally. He's out of this great state of California. He's been a Trump ally. He announced on Monday that he is resigning at the end of this month to become the CEO of former President Trump's new media and technology company. Quote, recently, I was presented with a new opportunity to fight for the most important issues I believe in. I'm writing to let you know I've decided to pursue this opportunity, and therefore I will be leaving the House of Representatives at the end of 2021, Nunes told constituents. Rest assured, I have not by any means given up our collective fight. I'll just be pursuing it through other means. End quote. So he's slated to be the CEO of the Trump Media and Technology Group called TMTG, Trump Media and Technology Group, which is billing itself as an alternative to big tech. A mess. A mess. But that makes sense. I mean, I'm not surprised. Bye. Oh, but here is my question, Dems. What are you going to do to who you have to fill that seat? What are you doing now to get somebody in place, a viable candidate to fill that seat? Because clearly he's in a district that's Republican leaning. However, this is California, where you could possibly get somebody in that spot who is a Democrat but can align themselves with the constituents in that district and in that community so as to garner yourself another seat, because they have a very slim majority in I think they only have a 6-seat majority in the House. That's it. A mess. A mess. Anyway, so yeah, we'll see. I ain't mad. Bagger. All right, so we're getting toward the end. I told y'all that I would end on a happy note, on a good note, at least happy for me. So this next story is not political at all. It has nothing to do with politics. We're going to go to the world of pop culture, right? I saw something yesterday come across my news feed that was one of the most disrespectful things I've seen in a long time. Just completely and utterly disrespectful. What do y'all think is probably going to be one of the most? If Really B was here, she would know exactly right now what was probably the most disrespectful thing I saw in my news feed yesterday. If Really B was there, she would call it right on out because she'd know me. Y'all know what was the most disrespectful thing I saw in my news feed yesterday? Hold on, let me take no, it wasn't the Travis Scott interview, Tracy. Let me have a bite of this before my sugar levels spike out. Tracy, you called it right out. These people who had the audacity to say that Beyonce should have a versus battle with the Queen. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, that wouldn't even be a fair fight. It's disrespectful for you all to even put Beyonce in the same stratosphere. Mariah Carey is in a stratosphere of music that only one hand full of people can, even the greatest of greats do not have the career that Mariah Carey has. And when you're talking about a versus battle, you're putting people's catalogs with each other. Mariah Carey could put one album up there and obliterate Beyonce's entire catalog. She could put one album up and there goes Beyonce's whole catalog. And people are going to say I'm being disrespectful to Beyonce. No, I'm not being disrespectful to Beyonce. I'm just being realistic. Y'all are being disrespectful, even comparing Beyonce to Mariah Carey. Y'all are the disrespectful ones, not me. Mariah Carey has, she's, unless it's a remake, it's very well known. Mariah Carey will tell you she's written every song. There's only one song that is not a remake and that she's done, and that was a new song and she didn't write it. And that was her duet with Whitney Houston, When You Believe. That is the only song, and she'll tell you that. The only song I did not write that wasn't a remake is When You Believe. All of her other songs she written, all of them. Listen, Mariah Carey can sit and she don't even gotta play the greatest hit. She can play the Daydream album and say, girl, get some of this. Or she can play the Butterfly album and say, girl, I'm not gonna even mention the Emancipation of Mimi album because like, what are we talking about? And, and then here's the sad part. They forget that she's a writer. So there is countless scores of people who she's written music for that people don't even know and realize. Like, what are we talking about? The fact that y'all are disrespectful. Y'all, you members of the Beehive, y'all are disrespectful. Mariah Carey versus Beyonce. In what alternate universe? Like, girl, I'm not even comparing the singing ability. I'm not even going down that road. But I could go down that road, and that's not even a comparison, okay? I'm not even going to go down just the sheer raw talent and ability of Mariah Carey, singing wise, versus Beyonce, because that's not what the verses is about. The verses is not about what it wasn't originally supposed to be about who sings better than the other one. It was supposed to be catalog versus catalog. That's what it originally was supposed to be about. I'm trying to think of the people who would be in the same stratosphere of Mariah Carey in terms of catalog. Stevie Wonder comes to mind. Stevie has a catalog like that as well. Stevie Wonder comes to mind. And you're talking about Stevie Wonder's career spans what, close to 60 years now? Mariah Carey's about 30, 32 now. The Mariah Carey album came out in 1990. That's 32 years ago. Stevie Wonder has, because even now a good versus maybe Whitney versus Mariah, but even then Whitney's catalog is not Mariah Carey's catalog. Mariah Carey's catalog is so freaking extensive. Like, she put an album out every year in the 90s. Every year. What are we talking about? It would be so ugly. Like, girl, I saw that yesterday. That made me laugh, y'all. I did see the Emmett Till situation where they closed the Emmett Till case even after the that lady recanted her story. It's disrespectful. I purposely didn't bring that up because I knew bringing up the Emmett Till story would send me into a sugar spike unparalleled. Even worse than the sugar spike I had on Saturday, where I was throwing candy all over myself. Go back and check out Silly Saturday. If y'all missed, we had an epic Silly Saturday. I don't know where you was, Bobo. Were you here on Silly Saturday, Bobo? I don't remember. I think you were here. I think Bobo wasn't. But we had an epic Silly Saturday, child. Babyface, Edmonds, maybe, but the thing that would, I'm not gonna even say Babyface too much because Babyface is written for a lot of different people, but so is Mariah. And so then it would then come to albums. And Mariah Carey, even if I don't include, even if I say I'm only going to do her albums from the 90s, let me tell you what she put out in the 90s. Mariah Carey, the debut album, the Emotions album, her second album, the Christmas album came right after that. Music Box came after that, and she went stratospheric off Music Box. Daydream came after Music Box. Butterfly album came after that, and then Heartbreaker came after that. Those 7 albums came out in the 90s. I'm not even including anything from the 21st century. That alone puts her in the top, puts her above 99.99999% of people who've ever written music. Those 7 albums, those are 7 albums. Some people don't even have 7 songs. Those are 7 albums right there where you can look at every single one of those albums and be like, yeah, debut album. I don't even need to say nothing. Now, people say her weakest album in the 90s was her second album, Emotions, but Emotions came out on that album. Wasn't Love Takes Time on that? Or was the Love Takes Time on the first album? I think Love Takes Time was on the second album. I mean, the second album was great. People would die to have an album like her second album. And then you have the Christmas album that came out after that. We don't even need to speak on the Christmas album, okay? Oh dear God, I didn't even know that, Tracy. Now I'm gonna have to look at that. I ain't got time to look into that. That sounds. I'm gonna have to do another politics of it all to look into that, Tracy. Oh, that don't sound good. Then after that, we have her Christmas album is easily one of the top 5 Christmas albums of all time. After that was Daydream. Not Daydream. After that was Music Box. Music Box had songs like Dream Lover, Hero, and I mean, what are we talking about? You then had Daydream. Need I say more? Daydream had Fantasy, One Sweet Day, Always Be My Baby. Come on now. Anytime you need a friend. That's Daydream. Butterfly. What are we talking about? Honey was on Butterfly. Breakdown was on Butterfly. My All was on Butterfly. Butterfly was on Butterfly. Then you still got the Rainbow album that came out in '99. The Rainbow album with Heartbreaker on there. It was so many bop songs. One of my favorite songs on the Rainbow album was Bliss. Her interludes on that Rainbow album was so good. So good. Oh my God. Oh, I used to be jamming on yeah. I remember the song with her and on that album with her and Snoop Crybaby. Oh, I love Crybaby. Oh, I'm gonna go listen to Rainbow today. I'm gonna listen to Rainbow. Rainbow used to be that bomb. Oh God. My favorite song of all time is on the Daydream album. But y'all are disrespectful to even put. Like I said, the first name that comes to mind, Glitter came out. I know Bobo, I was only doing albums that came out in the 20th century. Glitter came out, what, 01? I think Glitter came out 01. And then Charm Bracelet came out 02. Charm Bracelet was a good ass album that didn't get a whole lot of people didn't talk about Charm Bracelet. People didn't mention Charm. It didn't get as much sales, but Charm Bracelet was a phenomenal album. Oh my God. One of my songs on there was Bringing on the Heartbreak. Oh my God. Go listen to Bringing on the Heartbreak by Mariah Carey. God damn it. Tabitha, I'm talking about the disrespectful ass people who were saying that Beyonce should be in a verses with Mariah Carey, which is the most disrespectful ass shit I've ever heard in my life. Beyonce is not even in the same breath as Mariah Carey in terms of catalog. The only person who I can say if they put their catalog against Mariah, it would be a fair battle, is probably Stevie. Now, Stevie Wonder has a catalog as well. Stevie Wonder got a album. So I could see, and he's written for a lot of people as well. I could see Stevie Wonder putting his catalog against Mariah Carey, but it's not a whole lot of people who I'm gonna be like, yeah, their catalog can compare to Mariah Carey. Like I told you, Mariah Carey can stop with the 90s and it would obliterate almost anybody you can think of in terms of catalog. I ain't even went to the 21st century. I ain't even got to the 21st century yet. And some people think Emancipation of Mimi is her best album. I don't think it's her best album, but some people say Emancipation of Mimi is her best album. I don't like I wouldn't like a versus with Stevie versus Ray Charles. I think Stevie would beat him quite handily, but when we're talking catalogs, it's not a lot of people that's even in her stratosphere. I'm thinking, and even I know somebody mentioned Babyface, but Babyface has written a lot of albums, written a lot of music for a lot of people. But Babyface doesn't have an extensive catalog of his own music. So now I see it all too. You know what? Volvo, you so disrespectful. Volvo said Stevie Wonder versus, you know what? I'm not doing this. Versus Ray Charles in the I See It All tour. I'm not doing this with y'all. Mm-mm. I'm looking y'all to see if I see anything, because we could do this live. If I find a good article on I'm gonna have to do some research on what I just learned from Tracy, because Tracy said breaking news. Letitia Letitia James. Let me see. Oh, I'm seeing it. Hold on. Yeah, this just came out. Let me see. I'm gonna read the article, but I gotta I'm gonna have to do some more research and talk to some of my clandestine informants. Um, New York Attorney General, and this is from CNBC. New York Attorney General Letitia James said Thursday she will drop her campaign for governor and will instead run to be reelected in her current role. Quote, I have come to the conclusion that I must continue my work as Attorney General, James said in a statement. Quote, there are a number of important investigations and cases that are underway, and I intend to finish the job. I am running for re-election to complete the work New Yorkers elected me to do. End quote, she said. The surprise turnaround came less than 2 months after James announced her candidacy for governor in 2022, setting up a likely Democratic primary fight against Governor Kathy Hochul. Hochul was not elected to the office and has only served as governor since August, when she replaced Andrew Cuomo after he resigned after an investigation concluded he had sexually harassed multiple women. Um, Now I'm looking at the bottom of this. It says that a recent poll showed that James was up to 18%, 18 percentage points behind Hochul. I need to do some more investigative reporting on that. Yeah, Tabitha, I was just about to say that. It sounds like the Democratic brass came to her and said, "Hey, boo, this ain't gonna happen. You need our money. You need our political capital. You need our influence. We don't see it for you, girl, like that. So, this ain't your time. Going back over there, we will back you as Attorney General, but we're not backing you as. Mm. I'm going to lean on the fact that the Democratic Party wants no parts of a black woman. They probably looked at it and said, "Listen, we gave y'all a black mayor of New York. We not gonna give y'all no black governor either. We're not here for the blacks like that. You know how they call us the blacks. We're not here for the blacks like that." That's probably what happened. A mess. A mess. A mess. hmm So I don't know. Um, yeah, I need to go do some investigative reporting on this. Because I don't think we don't have a single black female governor anywhere. Let me think. There's not a black female governor anywhere in these yet to be United States of America. I'm thinking. I'm trying to think how many black male governors we have. Do we have a black male governor? I know we have some black male lieutenant governors. We got a couple of them. We got, black presenting lieutenant governor of Virginia. But I know I think Wisconsin has a black male lieutenant governor. Michigan has a black male lieutenant governor. A couple other states I can't think right now. But I don't think we have any black governors at all. I'm thinking. No. We'll have a black governor, male or female, that I can think of off the top of my head. Y'all help me out. Y'all help me out. And with that silence, I don't think we have any. Anyway, we about to get out here, y'all. That's all we got for the politics of it all. We out of here. Goddamn Beyonce versus Mariah. Y'all are disrespectful. Disrespectful. Tracy is we gotta that's gonna be a fight. The Stacey to get Stacey in there because remember Republicans have since stacked the deck since that last election and they put laws and voted election laws and voter suppression laws in place since that last election. So we gotta Stacey gonna have a fight for that seat. Yeah. I'm thinking I can't think of not a single. I probably could Google this and um what's your thought, so Jeff? Because I need to drop the link so you can come up here and we can have this whole discussion. I know you got a whole podcast. You don't see it for my little YouTube. Big time people like Jeff don't see it for little time YouTubers like me. When you're a podcast, the podcast world, the big time podcast world don't see it for little people like me. Do I need to drop the link for you, Jeff? So you can come up here? Because you look like you had some stuff to get off your chest. You can come on up here. Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. We fighting here tonight, child. Tabitha, it's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a real fight. Because I can already see. Yeah, listen, these white people are real mad, real mad. Y'all done convicted them people down there to Brunswick. Y'all done. And not only remember, we not only have Stacy, but we still got Reverend Warnock, who's up for reelection. And I know people are like, well, how is he up for reelection already? That's because that Senate seat um was the continuation of another Senate seat. Who's I forgot who seat that was. But anyway, Raphael Warnock is up for reelection in 2022 as well. And then after that, once he wins that, then he'll have a full 60 years. But this the election he just won last year was for the remainder of the tenure of, I forgot whose seat that was. I don't remember. Because John Ossoff, of course, they're gonna give the white boy the seat that he don't have to run for reelection for another 6 years, and they're gonna give the black man the one where he got to run again in 2 years. Like this, the goddamn House of Representatives. But that's a whole nother story. You sure you don't want to come up here? Hold on, let me post the link for So Jeff, who looked like he got some things to say. Since he got some things to say. Hold on. Let me get this good link and post it. Girl, what is going on with my StreamYard? Girl, what's going on? What is happening? Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. All right, it's in the Mod Squad chat. Can somebody from the Mod Squad post that, or Jeff, you can go to the Mod Squad chat and get that. Anyway, but yeah, it's gonna be a fight. Let's just say it's gonna be a real fight. What's up, Jeff? Not just Jesus God. I'm looking at Jeff's name and Jason name at the same time. What's up, Jason? What is good, sir? What is good? Where's Jeff? He ain't come up yet. Did he go to the Mod Squad chat? Oh, there go. There go. Thank you, Jason, for posting the link. Thank you, sir, for posting the link. When the Central says she tried. Listen, this whole Letitia James situation is bothering me. It's bothering me. I also see, I ain't trying to hear nothing that you got to say, Representative Jayapal? Mm-mm. Pramila Jayapal, you shouldn't have bended. Listen, you should not have bended the knee to Khaleesi. You bended the knee to Khaleesi, and now it's scorched earth. Now I hope you don't expect to get anything you want. Representative Jayapal, they need to pass Bill back better. Do they? Did you really think that they was going to acquiesce to you and coalesce to your demands? No, ma'am. A mess. I'm waiting for. Oh, there goes. Let me see. Jeff, that's you. I'm trying to look in the background to make sure. Jeff, that's you. Just wave your hand at me. Just come on and wave your hand at me so I can make sure that's you. We have. Oh, okay. That's Jeff. Okay, you can go off screen. All right. There go my boy Jeff. Let me bring him on. I can't be getting porn bombed by the people.
Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So I do want to make this quick because I do have to get ready. I'm recording today, but okay. So
I
my
told
thoughts on
you time podcasting.
go
I don't have
ahead, go
time
ahead.
for people.
So my thoughts on this theory about Mariah versus Beyonce. Okay, as you know, I am in the Beehive,
I,
but
Mhm.
but I also consider myself a part of the Lamb League. I am a lamb too.
I've been
So
I'm a car carrier member, been one since. I ain't gonna tell y'all since when, because that's gonna show my age. But whatever.
so I have respect for Mariah, and I do think that she has inspired Beyonce in many ways. When it comes to the verses, yes, Mariah has bigger hits in terms of numbers. But when you're talking about hits that have given us a cultural shift in the culture, when we think about verses, Beyonce would win hands down.
I don't know anything that Beyonce hits that Beyonce that changed the culture. What?
Okay,
I mean,
formation. Let's
Beyonce
just say
hasn't had hits.
formations.
Beyonce, listen, Beyonce absolutely has had hits. I'm not going to
Hmm.
take that away. Beyonce, absolutely, yes. Beyonce has had hits that changed the
Hmm.
culture. But so has Mariah Carey. Remember, Mariah Carey wasn't the first to have the mesh of the R&B um
Yes,
and rap.
R&B and pop.
She's
Yeah,
the
and
one
rap. Yep.
made it blow up. She's the one that said, yes, this can happen and can make it blow up. And you're talking about culturally, Mariah Carey during the mid 90s was a part of the explosion of rap and hip hop to the white masses and white communities that wasn't seeing it for hip hop and rap that day. And those moments during that midnight, that 93, 94 era where she was starting to do that kind of stuff really is what led to where rap went in the late 90s and what it is today. So we're talking about changing culture and things like that.
Okay, yes, she created an entire genre. Listen, I'm a lamb. She created an entire new genre when it comes to R&B and pop songs having rap features. None of these girls would be doing this right now without her. But Beyonce's Beyonce's music has literally shifted culture.
What music from Beyonce has shifted the culture? I'm waiting for you to tell me that.
Formation. Pretty much everything from Lemonade on. Okay, so
How did it
Mariah
shift
would put up a
culture? Please
fight.
explain that
Mariah
to me.
would put up a fight. She would put up an amazing fight.
I want to
Like
know how formation
if we're
changed the
going back
culture.
to Always Be My Baby, We Belong
Wait a
Together,
minute, wait a minute.
those
How did formation change the culture? How is formation anything but a mimic of some stuff that had already happened and that Janet Jackson was doing decades ago? I'll wait.
Beyonce did it better though.
How? Wait, what? You're talking about she
Beyonce
made
did it better though because she created
what?
an entire
Culture? has she made? She doesn't have a single cultural shift. Cultural shift. I thought you was gonna say maybe the before I let you go, but the thing about it is the cultural shift was people said don't be disrespectful to Frankie Beverly and Maze. Get them people they song and stop playing with us. Okay, that's the only cultural shift I know.
But these songs like Formation, songs like Sorry, songs like Single
Formation
Ladies,
didn't
these
sell.
songs are,
Formation didn't even
it
go
doesn't
past.
have to sell well. It
Did,
doesn't have to
you
sell
can
well.
be a
It's a
shift
part
if
of
you
the
don't have
culture at
numbers.
this point.
No, 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 Jeff.
Hillary Clinton said she has hot sauce in her bag.
Listen, you don't have numbers. You can't have a cultural shift if it doesn't shift the culture. You got to have numbers in order to shift the culture. And you're going to bring Hillary Clinton into this? She's a loser. See what that did for her. The culture
But at
did
the end
not.
of the day,
The
if
culture
if
did
that
not like her.
if that song hit Hillary Clinton in a way where she was aware of it, it shifted the culture because it's gotten to that height.
Now, I
When it
would say
comes to
something. No,
Mariah, she's had huge,
watch
huge
this.
hits. So I'm not saying
I'm
that she
going
wouldn't put
to
up
say
a
something
fight.
that's going to really
She would
make you
definitely
mad.
put up a fight.
No, no, no. I'm going to say
Go
something that's
ahead.
going to really make you mad. So there's somebody in Beyonce's era that I don't see it for, but if they had a real versus with that person,
Please don't
culturally,
say Rihanna.
right, for that person more than they do Beyonce. And I'm gonna say white girl Taylor Swift. The white people like Taylor Swift more than they like Beyonce.
But we don't let white people into verses.
I know that. But you see how crazy that sounds? But you see how crazy that sounds to you.
I I think Taylor Swift did not shift the culture, but I think
Neither did Beyonce.
she was a leader when it comes to business, when it comes to like
Neither
shifting
did
how
Beyonce did
you
culture.
Beyonce did change the culture. She changed how people drop music. She changed how videos are themed. She changed how people consume
How?
music. She changed
Explain. Please
what it
explain.
means to have a hit song.
Please explain
Because
how people drop music. Because I don't see a whole lot of people change
people
anything
are
about it.
people have been dropping music randomly, like they'll do surprise drops since she's came out with self-titled.
And
And she
these
does this
surprise
whole visual album thing. A lot of people, the reason
these
why
surprise
visuals are
drops.
still
Wait a These surprise drops were intended on garnering her more sales and more views, and they did not.
they actually
Did
garnered
not.
her the respect and
From the Beehive,
from
only from the
everybody.
Legion
She's
Beehive
selling out
people.
stadiums on her name alone. Mariah can't sell out stadiums.
Mariah Carey don't sell. You are
She
disrespectful.
can't
You said
sell out
Mariah Carey don't
stadiums.
sell
At
out
this point
stadiums.
in her career, she can't sell out stadiums. And
Yes, she
we
does. She
know,
absolutely
listen,
does right now, today. Are you
no,
crazy?
not stadiums. Maybe,
Yes, she
maybe,
does.
maybe arenas. Maybe
No,
arenas,
Jeff,
maybe,
Jeff,
but no,
Jeff,
not stadiums.
Jeff,
Stadiums is very hard to
Jeff,
sell.
Jeff, you sound crazy. You looking crazy out here, Jeff.
No,
I can't have you out here looking crazy, Jeff. You looking and sounding real crazy. Jeff.
Mariah's career is not where it used to be. We all know that, and I love her. I do. I think
Neither
her
is
music is
Beyonce.
amazing. But
Watch this. Neither is Beyonce's. And Beyonce's career is a fraction of Mariah Carey's career. Her career ain't what it is. Beyonce could put out an album right now and people would look at it like, oh, okay, girl.
I mean, honestly, and I saw a comment that said, "Let's see if Beyonce can sell out anything in 30 plus years." She's already been in the business for 2 decades. She's already had a 20-year career, if you include Destiny's Child. So, and her career is not stopping. It's not.
Oh, her career is stagnant right now. She's living off her
I
husband's
don't
money.
like. She just had a successful deal with Disney Plus. Mariah's still trying to just, squeeze out All I Want for Christmas Is You, which is, listen, #1 Christmas song of all time. But,
But
you
listen,
know,
Mariah Carey doesn't have to try to. Mariah Carey actually doesn't have to sing another note, move another body part for the rest of her life, and she will be well paid
Beyonce
for
too.
the rest of eternity. Her children, her children's children, and her children's children's children will be living off of her. What are we talking about?
I
This is
listen. I
you
agree 100%. I just think that.
feel
I
like
just think
this is
that
a
the
like I'll be a punk and this is a Saturday night
no,
sketch.
because
Just
I
trying to
will say
promote
this.
it.
I will say this.
Spread it. Did
If
you
we're
really say
talking
Mariah
about
Carey? Wait a minute, wait a minute. Did you really say Mariah Carey does not sell out stadiums? Are you kidding me?
no, she doesn't.
You are delusional at this
No,
point.
she
I
doesn't.
think reaching
Unfortunately,
and drawing at straws to try to defend Beyonce, and that's okay. I understand. You are a member of the Beehive, and you people in the Beehive
yeah.
are delusional.
I don't think it's delusional to say that Beyonce is a better performer than Mariah, so she's able
Oh,
to
absolutely.
get
No,
a
well,
bigger
she's a better
able to get
entertainer.
a bigger audience from
Beyonce is a much
her
better
shows.
entertainer. Absolutely. Beyonce get up there
Yeah.
and she's gonna give you, you
Hmm.
know, entertain.
Yeah, we know
She's
this. This isn't. It doesn't even have to be a discussion. We know this.
she gonna do the damn thing. But
Hmm.
versus is not about that. A versus is about catalog
Like
versus catalog.
exactly. So okay. So let's say we compare. So let's say we compare Beyonce's early career with her music, like Irreplaceable and stuff like that. Mariah would wash her. Always Be My Baby alone, like Honey alone would wash that. But then when we go into Formation and Sorry and and Flawless and all of these songs that people just know them. I don't think
No, they
that
don't.
can really
I
compare to.
can't. The songs that you said first, I kind of know those songs. I cannot tell
Mhm.
you. I can't sing a chorus or one word or line from Formation. I don't even know this sorry song that you're talking about. I never even heard of it.
But
So
you'll
what
know. But
is it
once she
about?
plays it, once she plays it during the verses, people would know it.
No,
And and
only
and
you
and
got
then what
them.
are you gonna do with
And
like
that's what
what
I'm
is
thinking.
Mariah gonna
Wait a
return?
minute,
Like
wait a
what
minute.
is she gonna come
Came
back with
up
that?
here.
Is
Hold
she
on.
gonna give you it's like that?
Hold
No,
on, Jeff.
no.
Hold on. She
Like what is she
came up
gonna give you?
talking about she was making cultural shifts with these songs.
Yes.
Songs that the
Hmm.
general public. I ain't never heard no sorry song. I heard of Formation, but I can't tell you one line from. I can't sing one line or chorus from Formation. I think I've seen the video. That's about it. But I can't tell you, that wasn't no seismic cultural shifting anything. Are you crazy? I said earlier, Mariah Carey could play one album and obliterate
No.
Beyonce's entire catalog.
I
The
think it would
entire
be a I
catalog.
I don't honestly honestly if I'm being honest, I don't like the matchup because I just feel like Mariah has such a long and storied career. You need somebody that can match that up. Like
But
she
like
was
I said,
reigning queen in the 90s. Beyonce wasn't.
I want to say like this.
It's two different types of
Even
music.
even if I only took one decade of Mariah Carey's 30 plus career, even if I just took the 90s and said, I ain't gonna give you nothing after 1999, that obliterates probably almost anybody you could name.
I agree. But we're not just judging that. If I'm going 1999 and on, that's when it gets a little bit shaky for Mariah. That's when
That's Mariah
I would
Carey had
say
arguably some of her
Beyonce and
best.
her.
People say Mariah Carey had arguably her best album
Butterfly?
after that.
Wasn't that 99?
No, I'm talking about Mimi Emancipation. People say a lot of people say Emancipation Mimi is.
Oh, Emancipation. I
I'm
mean,
not. That's not to me as a card carrier member of as the lamb
mhm,
of many many. Is it in my top five? Yes. Is it her best album?
yeah,
No.
no. I
Mimi
would say
is
Butterfly.
her best album for me. I'm biased because my favorite song would be on her best album. But that mid-90s Mariah, the three albums right back to back to back, the Music Box, Daydream, and Butterfly, those three albums
Mm-hmm.
alone right
Iconic.
there, she could do no wrong. Those three albums, she could do no
I
wrong.
agree. I agree. I agree. Like, let's say you're doing fantasy versus crazy in love.
That's not a close, that's not, fantasy is
What do you
strategy.
mean?
Fantasy is probably, if you talk about Mariah Carey's biggest hits ever, fantasy is in the top three. So fantasy alone could probably obliterate half of Beyonce's catalog. Like fantasy is, you talk
But
about cultural shifts and iconic.
yeah,
Fantasy is more of a cultural shift than
yeah,
iconic than Crazy in Love could ever be, ever dream of
I
being.
disagree. I mean, I agree. Actually, I agree with that. I do agree with that. But when it comes to,
And let's be clear. Crazy in Love is supposed to be all about Beyonce demonstrating her vocal prowess and her vocal ability. Beyonce will never win a fight vocally with Mariah Carey, ever. Because if you want to go down that road and talk about vocal prowess and ability and put one of Mariah Carey's songs where she's going to town versus the Beyonce song, it's not going to be close. It's going to be like, get this little child out this room. Okay, please get her out of here. Because that's the one song. Oh, Crazy Love, Crazy Love. It was okay vocally. It was all right. It wasn't nothing like, oh, girl, she's the musical. But girl, I could name 35 Mariah Carey songs that vocally obliterate Crazy in Love. Are you fucking kidding me? Where did Jeff go? I know he had to go. But anyway, this is crazy. like, what are we talking about? This is why the Beehive. Can somebody else post the link? Jason, can you repost the link? Anybody else want to come up here and talk about this craziness? Oh dear God. Oh dear Lord. I find this very, very amusing. I don't know what happened to my friend Jeff. Oh, there you go, Jeff. All right, you're back. I don't know what happened.
sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. I think I got a phone call. Let me put my shit on do not
Mm,
disturb.
that
But
was good telling you that you were wrong.
but
Like,
I
yeah,
did
it's
say
not
that
like
I
I
did say
said.
that fantasy would not exist. I said Crazy
Now
in
here,
Love would not
now
exist
here's
without
a more
fantasy. I
fair
will say
battle.
that.
If you wanted to go there, here's a more fair battle, and you gonna say, "Oh nah," I'm gonna say it is. If you just want to put a legend versus Beyonce, then put a Janet. And people gonna say Beyonce can sing better than Janet, but I would argue Janet got a catalog. Janet got a catalog. You can say,
I
yeah,
don't.
Beyonce might sing better than Janet, but Janet got a catalog of
Ooh,
song
that's
after song after
ooh.
song.
The thing that is
Janet,
just
she has a
it's
catalog.
just the time frames for me. It's like I just feel like, when somebody's reigning in the 80s and 90s, and then you have Beyonce, like she started really her career really didn't
Well,
start until
Beyonce's
the
not reigning right
2000s.
now. Beyonce's not reigning right now. So if you want to go to somebody during her period, which maybe you say from mid 2000s up until she had her glory days was about a good 10, she had about a good 10 to 12
Y'all are
years.
reading me in the comments.
She had about a good maybe 10, if I'm being generous, a good 10 to 12 year span. I'm gonna give her from about 02-ish until about, if I give her a 12
Let
year
me ask
span,
you
I
this.
give her to
Let me ask you
2014.
this.
Maybe I give her a 15 year. If I give her a 15-year span where you
Let me
say,
ask you this. Because Beyonce haters, they
I'm
really
not a hater.
people that dislike Beyonce, I'll say that they like amaze me because I just don't understand how that's possible. But do you think that she's a legend?
Is she a legend? She might be legendary. I'm not going to put her at iconic status because for me, for you to be iconic, you have to do things that change the face of the industry.
And you don't think she did?
Absolutely not.
Are you
Absolutely,
serious?
absolutely not. And I'm giving her, she's done some great things. But when we're talking about changing the face of the industry, like, for example, in order to be iconic, the iconic person is the person who Beyonce patterned or said, "Oh, I want to be like that person."
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
person who she points to is the icon. She could be
Mm-hmm.
legendary. Janet is iconic because all of the great dancers and entertainers said, "Oh, I want to be like her." Mariah Carey
Okay.
and Whitney Houston are iconic in what people call modern R&B because Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston were a part of that group of women that brought traditional R&B to more of the masses and made it more pop than it was so much. It was still R&B, but it started to be considered more so in the pop genre. And so they kind of shifted how people looked at and saw. They were responsible for so many, everybody said, "I want to be like this person." And I'm not saying that people won't say that about Beyonce, but what I'm saying is iconic status is stratospheric. And I don't know that Beyonce's career, not that she's not great, not that she may not be legendary, not that she's not one of the greatest performers that we
Y'all be
have had,
trying your hardest to put Beyonce down.
but she is. She's easily one of the greatest performers we've had. I will give her that. But
Mm-hmm.
iconic, you have to be in the revolutionary and changing the industry type genre in order for me to, in my estimation, for me to consider you
I
iconic.
think she's changed the industry. I think she's changed how
How?
artists
Look
promote
at she
music
changed
now.
the industry.
I think she's changed how artists promote music now. Like when
Why would anybody want
she
to?
made
Why would
albums
anybody
okay.
want to
She
follow
made
her when
albums.
she's doing
She
clearly
made
did?
albums relevant again. She made
She made
albums
what?
relevant again.
She
She
made what
made
album?
albums relevant again, meaning that you can listen to a whole album and not just listen to two singles. Not just there was a
So I
time
see what you're
when
doing
people
here.
were just putting out singles.
I see what you're doing here. You're using the fact that Beyonce came at a time when the music, especially the R&B industry, was at a lull, was at probably its lowest state, and she was
Hmm.
an outlier. You had a whole bunch of trash, and you had one outlier that was decent, and now she becomes legendary. When had you put that one decent person in a room of legendary people, she would be real regular.
I disagree. I disagree because her music is respected by legends.
What legends?
Prince respected her. Tina Turner
Frank,
respected her.
who?
Tina Turner.
I mean, we're not disrespecting her. I'm not saying that she isn't a great artist, sure, but she's not iconic. She ain't in the same breath as Mariah Carey. You're disrespectful. She ain't even in the
I
same
don't.
breath.
I didn't say that they have. Listen, I hold Mariah at a higher regard, but when it comes to verses, I just think that Beyonce would wash her.
How
But
Beyonce
Mariah would put
can
up
have
an
the amount of hits?
amazing fight. She would put up an amazing fight, and Beyonce would have to it wouldn't be easy for Beyonce to win that one. It wouldn't at all because Mariah would put up an amazing fight. But
I want you to
Beyonce's
name me
music
10.
is just
I want you to, if we're doing this verses, right, and you
hmm
get 10
hmm
from Beyonce, what are your 10
hmm
songs?
okay, let's probably let me try to go in order. Are we gonna include Destiny's Child?
I'll let you have this. You can have that. You can have anything you want. Destiny
Okay,
Child and all.
let's do Say My Name. We're also gonna do I want one more Destiny Child song. We'll also do Lose My Breath. And then when we go into Beyonce's solo material, I'll probably do Crazy in Love. Let's do
We already,
Resentment.
who?
That's four. Four,
What
Resentment.
was that?
Resentment.
What was the fourth one? I didn't hear the fourth one.
Oh, Crazy in Love.
No, after Crazy in Love. That was the third one.
Oh, I think it was Resentment. And
Who?
then
What's the
let's
name of
do
that?
Resentment. Resentment.
I don't even know what that song is, but I guess
You would know if you heard it.
I would
Oh
not.
no.
Probably not.
Well, yeah, let's keep Resentment. And then let's do Single Ladies, Listen from the Dream Girl soundtrack. We can throw in Dream Girls in there too. We can just
Yeah,
throw it
I'm gonna let
in.
you have
We can
anything you
throw in
want.
Dream Girl.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. Um, where am I at? Seven?
You're at
Ooh,
six.
oh, six? Okay. Formation,
See how you're reaching? See how you're
Halo.
reaching now?
I'm not
You're
reaching.
reaching
I'm
now.
not reaching. These are hits. Halo. I almost forgot about Halo. Can't forget Halo. And then two more. Let's do
You got three more.
three more? Okay. Let's do Sorry. I probably throw in Deja Vu. And then we can end it with oh, Love on Top.
Every song you've named, every single song you've named, like when you talk about, because you tried to make it like Beyonce has songs that will be carried through the annals of time and will be sung by scores and scores
They
and
will be.
generations of
And
people
they will
for
be.
days to come. And those 10 songs you named, I don't even hear them down to my local party where we just
Yes, you
try
do.
to have old school or have whatever we want at young school, new school, middle school, old school, whatever. I don't even hear those songs being played there. So what are we
If you go
talking about?
out, you're gonna hear Beyonce. If you go out, you're gonna hear Beyonce. That's just a given. If you go out anywhere, you're gonna hear Beyonce. If you're out in a cookout, you're
Let me
gonna hear
just
Beyonce.
let me
And
stop
you're
you.
gonna hear her over more than you'll hear
Let me let
Mariah.
me
And
let
that's
me
no
hear.
shade.
Let me stop you right here. Let me stop. Are those the 10 songs you're going with?
Yes, those are my 10 songs.
Your 10 songs. You sure? You
Yep.
can go back. Listen,
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yep.
not going to even justify giving you 10 Mariah Carey songs to go against that because it would be disrespectful for me to even have this conversation. Like, are you serious? Like,
Like I said, Mariah would put
you
up an
got
amazing fight. Like
to,
We Belong Together, that would probably destroy almost probably everything
I
in
would I would
Beyonce's
even
catalog.
listen.
But that's
We
only
Belong
one.
Together is probably one of my least favorite Mariah Carey songs. I might not even include
Mine
it in
too. Mine too, but I would include it in
and
the
but like you
verses.
said, it obliterates that whole list that you
Mhm.
just gave. What are we
But that's
talking
only
about?
one song. But that's only one song. That's why I said Mariah would put up an amazing fight. It would be an interesting verses to see
It would
because
not be interesting. It would be a bloodbath.
no, I think the reaction you would see from
No, because you
Beyonce's
would have
music would
all young
surprise
beehive
you.
people flooding the chat. That's what you're gonna have. All the insane beehive
People
people.
act like the Beehive
Anytime,
is the only ones listening to Beyonce, but that's not
anytime,
true.
anytime somebody says anything about the Beyonce, I'm surprised this live is still up. I have been shut down by YouTube or live because I mentioned the Beehive and the Beehive came a flock. They literally came into the chat. Next thing you know, the whole live
I
shut
think it's because someone's here to defend her, so they're like, okay, she has somebody defending her, so
just a mess. No, literally, people started coming in the chat. Oh, for my old people who've been
the
around
hive
or what
comes.
Let's go back to 2019. We was in a line, and I said something about Beyonce, and next thing you know, random people started coming there. We didn't even know where these people came from, and then it was shut down. It was so funny. They started, the Beehive came in, they started defending Beyonce. One little boy started putting a bunch of beads, and it was a mess. And then I was shut down. Like,
Well, I know my thoughts are controversial. That's why I didn't want to say it,
yeah,
but you
the
asked
people are
for my
saying, are you
thoughts.
a
But
90s baby? Were you born in the 90s?
I was born in '88. Yeah, so I guess I'm a '90s. I grew up in the '90s.
Yes.
I was 10 in 2000, pretty much. But I still love Mariah. Like I've heard, like I have all of her albums. Like I listened to her obviously in the '90s too. Like she's amazing, and she's inspired Beyonce in so many ways. But I'm just going by what I would like, what you expect from the verses, like the type of audience that the verses battles have. Beyonce would just like obliterate, but Mariah would put up an amazing fight. I'm not gonna deny that at all.
Like, Jeff, you sound like somebody in Bizarro World. Like, you really gave me 10 songs that everybody in the chat is thinking of. We could listen, we could say throw out Mariah Carey's top 10 songs, and they're not even allowed to be included, and still have countless numbers of songs that would obliterate everything you just named. Like, are you for real right now?
I don't
Like, are
think,
you for
honestly,
real?
I don't think it would ever happen anyway. Like,
Oh,
I
we
don't
know
think
it's not
either of
happening.
them would ever do it. The only verses that Mariah would do if she was going against herself. That's the only time I can see her doing the verses.
Like, Mariah Carey is diva status of all diva. Like,
Hmm.
she's earned, girl, I'm a diva. Do you know who I am? She's
Yeah,
a do you
exactly.
know who I am person.
Hmm.
She is the epitome of, girl, do you know who I am?
I don't even think she asks that question anymore. She just assumes that, everybody knows. And they do. And
She
they do.
walks in the room and be like, why am
She
I
walks
actually
into the
walking? Why am
room.
I not getting carried? Like, what are
She
we
walks into
doing?
the room and people gasp. Like, could you imagine that power? Like, you walk into a room and people just gasp, like, yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree. And
Like,
the Queen
Mariah,
of Shade too. The Queen
listen,
of Shade.
you, Jeff, the fact that you came out your mouth and said, "Oh, I think Mariah Carey will put up a good fight."
She would put up an amazing
That
fight.
sounds
Like Beyonce's
delusional.
back would be against the wall. At times, Beyonce's back would be against the wall, but like
Listen,
Beyonce would overcome. Like she would. It's just like I can already see it. But like her music has shifted the culture. It has.
how?
Like
It is not.
it's shifted, not only has it shifted the culture, but it's also shifted music business and the music industry. These artists are doing things that Beyonce was doing 5 years ago when she released her self-titled album. They're just catching up to the things that she thought of five,
They're,
six,
they're,
seven,
I
8 years
promise
ago.
you not. They're absolutely not. Because the thing she did 5 years ago did not work. And the album did trash. It went trash.
It was
It,
extremely
it,
successful.
the
And
album,
the thing is, Beyonce
I'm
doesn't
sorry,
cater to
that's
Billboard.
that's disrespectful. It didn't go trash. It went cardboard. That's what it went.
Beyonce doesn't cater to Billboard. She stopped caring about number ones years ago. So she's
So
not
how
thinking
can
about number one for Billboard. She doesn't
she
think about that
stopped caring
anymore.
about it because she was not obtaining it?
She doesn't care about it because she doesn't want to put out the type of music that requires a number one. Like she's not putting out that same
So
old
how can they
generic
shift in the
R&B.
culture? Wait a minute. That's a whole oxymoron there. You can't talk about shifting the culture if the culture isn't paying attention. And you're telling me I'm not here to make music
They
that's number
are
one
though.
music
You
for.
Tell me one artist that is not inspired by Beyonce.
Tell me
One
artists
one
that are.
artist that is huge right now that is not inspired by Beyonce. Every
I would
single
argue
major
that
artist
there
right
are
now is
artists
inspired by
right now
Beyonce.
that are. Because first of all, Beyonce.
Thank
Now,
you,
if you want
Jason.
to now, no. You brought this on. Let's do this. Since you want to go down there talking about how great Beyonce is, Beyonce and her generation of R&B singers are responsible for the death and demise of R&B.
Peace,
That is
love.
her
You're saying
legacy.
that Adele is
That is
more
her
iconic than
legacy.
Beyonce, but
If she want to
Adele,
talk about
when Adele won her Grammy,
she
she said
absolutely
herself that
did.
Lemonade is a better
She
album, and
absolutely
she said herself
changed
that it's inspired herself.
the culture and made people say, I ain't listening to that R&B mess. I'm just gonna listen to a horrible struggle rap because I would rather listen to mumble horrible struggle rap than the trash that she's putting out. Since we want to go down the cultural shifts, and please don't
Disagree.
come
I disagree.
about the amount of Grammys she has. When
Oh,
when
I
the
don't
people
care about those Grammys.
category,
Just like Beyonce, I don't care about those Grammys. Her daughter had the Grammy. Who cares? Like,
like
her daughter got a Grammy. Her
like
daughter walked into school like, I want a Grammy, and everybody clapped for her. But that's the only reason she went to the Grammys last year, because they gave her daughter a Grammy. But I don't care about those Grammys, just like Beyonce don't. But when Adele won her Grammy for Album of the Year, she said herself that she couldn't accept this Grammy because Beyonce's Lemonade deserved it,
and she
and
still
it
took that
shifted
Grammy home.
the culture.
She still took that Grammy home and it's sitting on her shelf.
But she dedicated the album to Beyonce because even Adele knows that Beyonce is the queen.
I'm
Like,
going, y'all. I'm gonna do this to y'all in the chat. I'm not gonna let y'all have to endure
no,
and
I'm not a
suffer.
barb. No, I'm not a barb. I don't consider myself a barb. I
I'm
don't
not
consider myself a
listening.
barb at all.
Members of the chat, I am not gonna force you all to hear and listen to this any longer. I apologize. I'm better than this. You demand and expect better than this from me, members in the chat. And I sincerely apologize to you all for what you all have had to endure for the last several minutes. I
Oh my
apologize.
God.
We will do better over here. Dear God, we're Beyonce fans explain to us how we can have a Trump as president. And there's your politics of it all. This is how we can have Beehive
Do
in this
not, do not.
in this country. Just
Mm,
saying.
I just don't, I just,
I'm just saying.
everybody will see the light
You
at
have
some point when it comes to Beyonce.
mention the
I just
this.
wait for it to happen.
The people who say that Beyonce would beat Mariah Carey in the verses are the same people who are saying that Donald Trump won the presidency.
Yes, thank you, Abby. Thank you. Thank you.
Like Jeff, and I'm being comedic and facetious, but Jeff, you really, really cannot really believe that Beyonce would beat Mariah Carey in a versus battle.
No, I do. I do.
Like you can't really be
I
serious
do.
about
I do. When you're thinking about the verses, like I said before, and I'll say it one last time, when you're thinking about the verses audience and the type of response that they get from certain types of music and certain type of songs that have really shifted the culture, songs that they know like the back of their head, it's gonna be Beyonce.
it. Hmm. Hmm.
Oh,
Jeff,
thank you guys. Thank you.
listen,
Thank you, Chad. Oh, Chad is so nice
Jeff,
now.
when I come to New York, we gonna have several shots so I can get you to this level of drunk again, where you say that there's a, and then you said, but Mariah would really put up a fight against Beyonce. Like,
She would put
you know what that's like? That's like me getting in the ring with Mike Tyson and we having a boxing match, and you said, Mike Tyson will really put up a good fight against El Teddy, but El Teddy would beat Mike Tyson. Like, that's how crazy this sounds.
I know, I know that sounds crazy because when you think about Mariah's enormous success and the type of like what she's done for the industry and what she's done for music in general, you would think that, that wouldn't make sense. But Beyonce has just done a little bit more at this point in her career.
How? Where? Like, this is so hilarious. You are going to, with a straight face, say that Mariah Carey hasn't done as much for the music industry as Beyonce? That Beyonce's done more for music?
Just a little bit at this point in her career, just a little bit, just a little bit more, a tiny bit. Like, it's at the point right now. Like she's in her second decade. She's about to hit her third decade of her career. It's like it's too consistent, where it's not gonna stop. It's not gonna stop. And
Consistent where
Mariah has already,
have
unfortunately,
album
reached her peak.
God with the child.
And Mariah has unfortunately already reached her peak. I don't think Beyonce's there yet. And I hate comparing them because they're two of my favorite artists ever, but yeah.
No, Abby, this is why I'm here. Why you missed the whole conversation, Abby. You you think I'm just being me, Abby? We have had to sit here and listen to this delusional conversation. Like, really? This is what we've had to endure. This young
I
man
mean,
is here that Beyonce has done more for music than Mariah Carey. He says that Beyonce has made cultural shifts. Her
she
songs have
has.
shifted the culture.
It has shifted the culture. Abby,
And
you
listen,
know Beyonce's music has
back,
shifted the
if we
culture.
go back to that list of 10 songs that you named, none of them shifted any parts of the culture.
I'm glad I could make you guys laugh though. I'm really happy about that.
This
But I'm 100%, I'm being 100% genuine. Like I'm not bullshitting. I do believe all of this. I do. I don't understand why it's so hard to believe because Beyonce has pretty much proved herself at this point in her career, and she's gained the respect of so many of not only her peers but the people that she inspired every day in music. But whatever, it's fine. Right, Abby. Basically, how the music industry moves, she has changed that, which is a shift. But she's also shifted the culture. She has.
I don't. What do y'all want me to do with this? What do y'all want me to do with this?
I've rarely seen you speechless.
They're like, what really do y'all want me to do with this?
Exactly, Abby. See, I told you, I'll tell you. Her self-titled album shifted the way artists dropped albums. Exactly.
You,
Exactly.
you, you finished? You done? That's all you got?
I'm just saying, like, she's inspired a whole new crop of artists in a way that most artists can only dream of. And I'm not saying Mariah hasn't, because she has. Like I said, Crazy in Love would not exist without Fantasy, because that whole R&B with a rap feature thing, Mariah
And
invented
love
that.
and fantasy have nothing to do with each other.
I would
They're
say
not.
they're very similar in terms of it's
No,
a
they're not.
pop R&B song featuring a rapper. Mariah pretty much invented that genre because nobody had artists, rappers on their songs until Fantasy Remix with ODB. So Mariah pretty much invented that genre, but with Crazy in Love, I would say Beyonce, okay, I'll say it. I would say she perfected it. And after that, all of these artists just started doing all of these R&B, pop, hip hop songs featuring rappers, and now we have these artists today like Ariana and Rihanna who pretty much copy that and create hits off of that. Oh, y'all going off.
Like, I feel like this video is going to be flagged and taken down by YouTube for giving out misinformation.
Oh my God. Okay, I do really have to go though because I do have to record and I have to start getting ready. But this was such an amazing conversation and we have to do it again
I'm
because I
not
had a
going to
lot
let
of fun.
your wrong information saying that Beyonce has done more for the music industry than Mariah Carey. I'm not going to even let you entertain you saying that her
I said by
catalog.
a little bit though. I didn't say like she like destroyed like what Mariah had done. I said only by a tiny bit. I said at this point in her career she
Beyonce
has
has got
because
to get
Mariah has reached her
the
peak.
same
So we already
breath.
know Mariah's peak at this point. Beyonce is still at her peak. She's still in her prime musically. So that's why I say that because she's still shifting the culture as we speak.
Abby, do you now understand why I say that this explains how we have people that still believe that Donald Trump is president and that believe that John F. Kennedy Jr. is coming to Dallas to come have a rally and he's not really dead?
Okay, I really do have to go though.
All right, Jeff.
Thank you so
Thank you
much for
for
having me, LTD. Thank you so much for inviting me.
listen, Jeff. We could, like you said, Jason. We're gonna have to have a Jeff segment from here on out, just to have for me to relieve
Not a
fear.
just second.
I'll be looking for that podcast. Let me know when it drops.
I will, I will. Okay,
All right. That
bye.
is Jeff, ladies and gentlemen. What do y'all want me to do with that? I love Jeff. Jeff is a podcast. Him and his friend, they have a podcast. But yeah, that like. But my thing about it is, we started this conversation talking about Mariah Carey versus Beyonce and the versus battle, and I said that that's disrespectful because versus battles involve catalog versus catalog. We're not talking about who's the best entertainer. We're not talking about who's the best performer. We're talking about just catalog. We're not even really fully talking about who's the best singer. We're talking catalog versus catalog. And that's not even like y'all. I gave Jeff the chance to give us 10 songs from Beyonce that he would have in the verses. Some of those songs in the 10 I've never even heard of and don't even know. Okay. I could name 10 albums from Mariah. Do you hear me? Abby, you are delusional. There's no Abby. Abby, we went through this. Where were you at, Abby, when we went through this earlier? Even if we took just Mariah Carey's 90s catalog, Beyonce doesn't have nearly. We named 7 albums, 7 from the 90s. 7 albums from the 90s, just the 90s. Just the 90s. that Beyonce couldn't dream of even being in the set. If I go the debut Mariah Carey album, Emotions, the Merry Christmas album, Music Box, Daydream, Butterfly, Rainbow, those 7 albums right there. No, 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 nope, 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 nope. When you do a versus, you do a catalog versus catalog. That's why I said it would not. Mariah Carey, I believe, have 10 songs by themselves that went diamond. 10. So you want to talk about hold on. Let me see. Let me see. All right. Um, I mean, what do we? I'm looking at some of this stuff that they're saying just from her career and catalog. I mean, I'm not gonna even go down this road. Um, I mean, what are we talking about? I don't even know. I'm looking at showbizcheatsheet.com. I'm not gonna even go down. It's not even worth it. And I love that. I love that people want to have this conversation. And I'm not diminishing who Beyonce is. I'm not. Don't want to diminish who she is. But Mariah Carey is the level of artist that she's a historic level artist. Meaning when the history book, she's on the pantheon of, you talk about some of the greatest people in music history in terms of what her accomplishment, she's there. I'm just saying. That's not a fair matchup for Beyonce. Beyonce doesn't have nearly the catalog. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what these delusions, um, where these, I mean, like I said, if I just put her 90s work up against Beyonce's whole career, it wouldn't even, that's not even a fair fight. I could just say, okay, Beyonce, I'm gonna put this one Mariah Carey album against your whole career. And y'all are funny. Y'all are funny. Y'all are so funny. I mean, y'all are funny. Now Beyonce is here. I'm here for Beyonce. Beyonce is good, but I don't think Beyonce has a single diamond seller. I know she doesn't. I'm trying to think. Does she have any? Her best selling album was Dangerously in Love. I think that one is her only platinum album. I think Dangerously in Love was her, yeah, that's her only platinum album. I mean, Adele has more platinum hits than you do. Lady Gaga has more platinum hits than you do. I'm looking at it right now. Hell, Katy Perry has more platinum hits than you do, Beyonce. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Technically, Beyonce has more platinum hits than I mean Rihanna has more platinum hits than Beyonce. Now, if y'all want to really talk about it, if y'all really want to talk about it, Rihanna has more. Y'all want to talk about a versus? Why don't you do Rihanna versus Beyonce? Because Rihanna probably has more. Rihanna does so more albums than Beyonce. Now, if you want to talk about, do that, but putting her against Mariah Carey is, yeah, is disrespectful. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Y'all are funny. Y'all are real funny. I bet y'all can't. I bet y'all would be very surprised to know what Mariah Carey's top selling album is. Anybody know what Mariah Carey's top selling album is? Um, uh-uh. Mariah Carey's top selling album, I was even surprised when I looked at this, is actually Music Box. Int- Music Box is one of my favorite albums. For me, is Music Box and Daydreamer right here. Like you catch me on the wrong day, one goes above the other. I'm always going to side officially with Daydream because my favorite album song by Mariah Carey is on Daydream, Underneath the Stars. But yeah, Music Box is her best selling album. That's interesting. I did not know that. Did not know that. Hmm. Joshua, we're not going to entertain you. We're not going to entertain you talking about Beyonce. We just had to entertain Jeff talking about Beyonce and the fact that she's better than everybody who's ever picked up a microphone. That is the policy. Let me get out of here. I'm going to work late today. Well, no, I'm not going to be late, but I have a late time to be at work today, so that's why I'm still on here. Otherwise, I would have been gone. But anyway, I'm about to get off here, y'all. I've had a great time with y'all. We've been on here way longer than I anticipated being. Um, y'all give Ty some love and some shout out. Ty has been doing his thing. I was on the phone with him earlier. He on Wednesday nights he goes to perform and drag at at this club, and he's been doing that and been doing his thing and winning stuff and all of that stuff. If you follow his Instagram or his Facebook, he you can see some of his performances and stuff there. So yeah, I was on the phone with him this morning. He says, "Hey," but he was tired, so that's why he come on. Anyway, that's all I got for y'all. Until next time. Well, I'm sorry. Let me do this the right way. I love y'all. I love all y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. They're much obliged and much appreciated. We are always here to bring you all the good stuff in terms of politics. I'm gonna go and do um some investigative reporting on this Letitia James situation, but I'm pretty much can pinpoint what it is with that. Other than that, that's all I got for y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out.